Alright, this is Mitchell ELF Birdsongs, and this is Center 4, Bird Hunt and Bird Nest Bag Craft. In this center, the goal is to go out and observe songbirds in nature and create a bag of nesting materials for our spring nesters. So, this is a great outdoors one because you got to go observe, and the craft is really messy, so that should be outside too. You're going to take your group out into the schoolyard where you think you might find some birds. An area where there are trees, like the front of the building, or the big cottonwoods that are north of the school by the temporary buildings are good places to look. So it's important that you bring in binoculars to share with the kids. So maybe if all the volunteers each brought in a pair to help out whoever's running Center 4, that would be great. So you're going to go outside and you're going to look and you're going to listen for birds. And in the bin, there are 2 bird guidebooks. In case you do see some that you are close enough you can identify them. You can try to figure out what ones you've seen. But try not to focus too much on that. What you want to really focus on is their behavior. And so there are different bird hunt sheets. There's a laminated one that's for kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, and you can use dry erase markers to fill it out, or you can just talk about it. So it asks questions like, where do you see the bird? How big is it? What color is it? You could draw the bird, talk about what the bird's doing, and whether or not it's singing or calling. If you have ELF in the morning, you should be able to hear them singing. In the afternoon, probably not so much. And then also ask the kids if they can see another bird that it might be talking to. The older students can each have their own paper, and it has similar questions, and you can use the bird hunt sheet that says grades 3 and 4, or you can give them the bird behavior sheet, and they can kind of do a tally of how many birds they saw flying or carrying nesting materials or singing or doing these different activities. And they can kind of just keep an observational scientific log of that, and then you can use that to discuss what you saw during your observations. The copy code is hopefully in the bin, and it's 19540. That's the PTA copy code. So there are some already made, but you'll probably need to copy some if you choose to use those. If you don't find any birds, you can ask the kids why they think they didn't find any, or it could be because they're still returning from their winter homes. It could be because the weather is not very great, and you can talk about relating information like this, why they might not find birds yet, relating back to the migration unit at the beginning. You can also mention that reasons we don't hear many birds sing in the winter have to do with the fact that most of them have migrated away, and that singing generally is associated with mating and nesting, which relates to the fact that it's part of their spring and summer cycle, and again relating back to the whole theme of the year of cycles. So you can also suggest that students listen and watch for birds in their yards or in parks, and recommend that they take home some of these ideas of observation with them and use them then. So after you do that, you're going to make a bird nest bag. Now hopefully you'll get to do this outside. If you don't get to do it outside, hopefully I will have found a sheet or piece of plastic for you to do this on top of, because it gets pretty messy. The bird nesting bag will look like this when you're done, and it will be a mesh bag that is full of materials that the birds can hopefully pick out, just like that. You didn't see that. Just like they could just pull them right out of the bag and take them off to build a nest. And so in a second Center 4 ELF bin are all the materials that you'll need to build it. And ahead of time you want to come in and make sure that there's enough squares of the tool cut up for you. I don't know if you can see that on the video. And get some yarn and have the yarn cut to a length that will be for tying the bag together, and then pieces of yarn to go in there. You want to make a pile of the fibrous, mossy stuff, and you can get that all set ahead of time. And then what students are going to do, let's see if I can do this, is take all these parts and put them in the middle of the netting, and then pull all that together. And you're going to tie it all together, which you probably can't see me doing because it's all too close to the camera. So pull it, kind of bunch it all together. I pulled it all together at the top like that, and then we'll tie a string around it. And when you get done tying a string around it, this is just like a cookie show. You'll have a bag like this, and hopefully there'll be a long end of string on the end of your bag, and you can just tie that, have the kids tie it into a tree. You'll need some Ziploc bags from the room to have each kid put it in the Ziploc bag, or it might fall apart in their backpack. And have them put their name on the bag, and you can send it on home with them to hang up in their yard. And hopefully some birds will find it and nest it. You can suggest that when they get home, they might want to snip some small holes into the netting to make bigger areas for the birds to dig stuff out. So there are some specific directions that tells you about cutting into the tool to make small holes, not too big, and all that is in your outline. So if you have any questions, you can email us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. Don't forget to bring binoculars, because it's pretty fun for the kids to get to use that tool to explore, and you can sometimes see birds doing some pretty neat things hanging out in the trees in the marsh. So happy bird hunting and watching.